The auditorium lights dimmed, voices faded, and a gentle hush fell across the massive room. It was the kind of silence that came before something extraordinary, the breath-held moment before fate revealed itself. Thousands waited, cameras rolling, hearts open, unaware that they were moments away from witnessing a story that would linger in the soul long after the applause faded. On a small chair backstage, a boy sat quietly, hands clasped together, his nails pressing into his palms as if he needed the pain to stay conscious. His name was Elias Carter, 14 years old, thin, nervous, with eyes that held both innocence and storms. He wore oversized hand-me-down clothes, and one shoelace was frayed almost to thread. Beside him sat a woman, older than mothers usually looked. Lines carved her tired face, yet her smile carried warmth, the kind of smile one earns through years of sacrifice. She squeezed the boy's hand. "You ready, sweetheart?" she whispered. Elias nodded, though his body trembled. "Yes, Grandma, I think so. You don't have to be perfect," she reminded him. Her voice shook slightly, but her eyes were steady. "Just be honest. Sing the truth." "People feel truth, even when they don't understand it." He breathed in deeply, as if inhaling her strength, and the stage assistant called his name, Contestant 227, Elias Carter. Elias stood, and the old woman pulled him into a gentle hug. "Your mom would be so proud," she whispered into his hair. "And your dad? He's watching too. I know it." Elias blinked hard to hold back tears, nodded again, and stepped toward the stage lights, toward the unknown. The crowd was cheerful, buzzing with excitement as he walked out. But as soon as they saw him, small, shy, pale, their energy softened. A few whispered. A judge leaned to another with a polite, curious smile. The host whispered into his mic, "He looks so young." The main judge, a woman famously tough on performers, spoke first. "What's your name, dear?" Elias. "Elias Carter. And how old are you?" 14. "What will you be doing for us today?" "Singing." A song I wrote." A murmur rippled through the audience. Original songs were risky enough for seasoned musicians, let alone a boy who looked like life had already tested him too soon. The judge softened slightly, sensing the fragility in his voice. "Why this song?" Elias swallowed. "It's for someone I miss." A pause. Respect replaced curiosity. The judge nodded. "Whenever you're ready." The lights shifted. The auditorium darkened, leaving a single beam glowing around him, like a fragile star in a night sky. Elias closed his eyes and sang. His voice was soft, cracked at first, like it wasn't used to being heard. But it carried emotion untouched by polish or training. It was raw, trembling, honest. "You said life would get brighter on days when skies looked gray. You held my hand through every night until you slipped away." A woman in the front row inhaled sharply. A man wiped his eye. On camera, the host leaned forward, frowning in stunned admiration. As Elias continued, images flashed in his mind. Days in a small hospital room. Machines beeping, his mother's weak hand in his, whispering, "Never stop dreaming, baby." His dad? He barely remembered him. A soldier lost in war before Elias turned 3. Their home felt like a shell after his mom died last winter. Bills piled like heavy stones. And the only person who held him together, the woman who stepped in when grief threatened to swallow him whole, was his grandmother. She worked long hours, cleaned houses, skipped meals so he could eat, and walked miles so he could have bus money for school. This performance wasn't a dream of fame. It was a prayer. A desperate hope to change things for her, to honor his mother, and maybe breathe again. The chorus hits. When Elias reached the chorus, his voice lifted, no longer timid, but bursting with something bigger than him. "So I sing for the angels that held me up tall, for the love that remains when the hardest days fall, for the arms that I long for, the whispers I hear. I'm standing here singing so you'll feel me near." The room froze. The sound was not powerful in volume, but in truth. It was the kind of voice that didn't just reach ears. It reached wounds people forgot they had. A teenage girl in the audience covered her mouth as tears streamed down her face. A tough-looking man in a leather jacket blinked rapidly, pretending he wasn't crying. The judges exchanged looks, not just impressed but moved. One whispered, "This is real." The bridge, the breaking point, Elias' voice trembled. His breathing hitched. "I'd trade every wish for just one more day. One more laugh, one more night, just one more okay. But life doesn't listen when hearts learn to ache, so I'll sing through the pain. 'Cause love never breaks." He faltered, and for one terrifying second, silence swallowed the room. His eyes filled with tears he couldn't control. His voice almost broke completely, but then, from backstage, he heard it. His grandmother, whispering along with him just loud enough. "You got this? Sing, baby." He opened his eyes, wiped his cheek, and sang the final line with everything inside him. "And I'll sing you to heaven, till I get there one day." Silence. Then explosion silence, utter, breath-held, stunned silence. And then the auditorium erupted. Gasps turned into cheers, cheers into thunderous applause. People stood. Strangers hugged. Even the toughest judge pressed her hand to her heart. Tears streamed down Elias's face, not because they applauded, but because he did it. He survived the moment. He honored them. The judge speaks. The main judge leaned forward, voice trembling. "Elias, some performances entertain, some impress. But this," she touched her chest, "this reached the deepest part of us. You didn't sing just notes. You sang love, and love is the greatest music there is." Another judge wiped his eyes openly. "I haven't felt something like that in years." Grandmother comes on stage. The host noticed Elias shaking and rushed backstage, gesturing to the grandmother. Security made way as she hurried to him. As she walked onto the stage, the crowd softened into gentle applause. Elias turned just as she reached him and fell into her arms. "I did it," he whispered. "You did, sweetheart," she whispered back. "Your mama's dancing in heaven right now." The golden moment one judge suddenly stood. "I don't want to wait for votes," she said. Her voice cracked. "This moment, this heart, this bravery deserves the world." Her hand lifted over the button. The crowd gasped. Elias froze, and with a soft smile and tears glistening in her eyes, she pressed the golden buzzer. Gold confetti burst from above like a shower of blessings. The room shook with cheers. Elias buried his face in his grandmother's shoulder as she held him, both of them sobbing, not from shock, but from relief. From years of silent struggle, from the sudden belief that maybe, just maybe, life was changing. Cameras captured every second, broadcasting not just a performance, but a miracle of perseverance and love. This wasn't a star being born. This was a soul being seen. They walked off stage, still shaking. Producers hugged them. Crew members patted Elias back. In the weeks that followed, the clip went viral, not because of notes or judges' reactions, but because the world recognized truth in a boy's voice and in a grandmother's unwavering love. Messages flooded in. "He reminded me of my daughter. I lost my mom, too. Thank you." This healed something in me I didn't know needed healing. People didn't just watch him. They felt him, sponsors reached out. Donations poured in. A foundation offered his grandmother a home so he could focus on school and music. Life didn't magically erase hardship, but it finally gave them room to breathe. For the first time in years, hope lived under their roof. Months later, Elias stood on a small porch in their new home. His grandmother rocked on a chair beside him. "Fireflies danced in the yard. Grandma?" he asked softly. "Yes, baby?" "Do you think Mom heard me?" "Do you think Dad did too?" She looked at the stars, voice filled with certainty. "They didn't just hear you, sweetheart. They lifted every note." He leaned his head on her shoulder. "I don't ever want to let you down." She kissed his hair. "You could never let me down. You are my miracle." And the world finally saw what I've always known. He smiled, small, peaceful, grateful. The night breeze carried whispers of dreams. And somewhere in that silent air was the echo of golden confetti falling, and the sound of hearts opening. Sometimes The greatest victories don't come from strength, but from vulnerability. Sometimes, the most beautiful voices are the ones trembling with truth. And sometimes, a golden moment isn't about winning, it's about being seen, being believed in, and finally believing in yourself. This wasn't just a performance. It was a reminder. Love never leaves, dreams never expire, and courage, even in the smallest heart, can change the world.